On the last episode of the A-Team.
Some people came at me, I came at some people, and the mattress just was like the first thing.
People was looking at us and people was being shady with us. Cause somebody was like, oh, this mattress on her head.
It looks like a tragedy on my head because one side is the whole hurricane.
The same Dorian would carry my mattress come straight through with the mattress.
Seeing what they were pulling at, I was like,
First of all,
they think I hear them talking about my mattress on my head. That's the mattress would float straight from the hurricane off her head.
I got my time to go.
But I didn't want to do anything extra to that except put the charger and a chain in her hair.
That's it? Ain't nobody in there had a whole big box on their head covered with hair and was sickening like that. Like that. Like that.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Y'all ready for this?
Before the creative directors left the studio on day 1, we had a special message for the final projects. New message. And for your final 2 projects, you will need to add a male model and makeup artist to your team. We had a special casting call for male models. You and your team will be shooting outdoors.
hey guys, we're leaving the studio. It is 1 something of 10 minutes to get to Tino Beach.
Faster, yeah. And you're moving your body at the same time. Yes. Carry your head over.
I'm ready. Let's go get us the chips for me. Okay, going.
I'm Daryl Stubbs, and you're watching The A-Team.
Welcome back to the main stage. It's time to meet the male models.
Mis puntos fuertes son ser confiable y estable.
My name is Michael Watkins. I am a young, charismatic 29-year-old.
I run track for the Bahamas. Right now I'm dealing with an injury.
I am also a national rugby player. I am a project manager and data analyst. And I'm just a vibrant ball of energy.
I am here bringing energy and just me as a person to the table.
My name is Felix. I come from Dominican. I play basketball.
I always like trying new things, so right now I'm just getting my feet wet in any experiences, any avenues that I can find.
I'm different, so I don't categorize myself in any category. I'm a wild card, so you never could expect anything.
I was Bahamas Perfect Man 2021 to 2022, and I competed in Orlando and here locally, so I'm familiar with the runway to some extent and also still photography.
It's my free time. Model, take a picture, walking, everything.
People in certain circles may not have seen me around on the modeling scene too long, but I feel like once they see what I can do, they'll be like, okay, this guy's a force to be reckoned with.
We'll see about that.
Prepare for Project 3, Oh Boy, and Project 4, Beauty and the Beat. Each team will have 15 minutes to complete their outdoor projects.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy was a challenge, whereas I felt as though even though we've been through a lot of people are still getting married, a lot of people are still finding happiness in whatever it is that we're doing as far as life and bringing it to a whole editorial experience. I decided to create a married couple, whereas we're in the Bahamas, we're on the beach, and taking it to a romantic, sexy place, whereas it's like it's hot and heated. We can't necessarily make it to the room, so I'm already hot and bothered and it's kind of already changed. So take it right there on the beach.
With my male model for Oh Boy, English is not his first language. And that's okay. If you show him what you need, it works, it helps. You know, he couldn't really take direction properly because of the language barriers. But he did the best he could, and I'm proud of him. That was actually his first photo shoot ever. It was his first time in front of the camera, so I kind of just take it and roll with it.
Oh Boy for me was really, really wet, considering the fact that it was on the beach, and we did a old young look with young people, and we pulled it off good. The sun was extremely hot, and it was really, really fairly last minute for me because I was trying to do everything quick. But it was, Oh Boy was my favorite shoot.
I literally prepared him for Oh Boy, and that was the only thing, because I thought about a boy, so I really wanted him to work with my female model, which is Olympia, and I've worked with Shaquille, and shout out to Shaquille. I worked with Shaquille for a minute now, and I know that he would have been perfecto for Oh Boy, so I was excited about that.
I'm probably like a Grammy, probably out of everyone. I've been in this business over 20 years, and I follow my heart and I follow my mind, basically. Everything that you would find or see from me is pretty much original, just a God's gift that I bring to life, whatever it is that comes to my mind. I started actually as a dancer and doing more things in theater. So this is where the transition actually happened and occurred, from the dancing to makeup applications to costume designing to directing and choreography and all of that type of stuff. I was a soloist and a performer, so I was kind of always in the limelight. Some people tend to read my personality a bit wrong. What happened is, it kind of grew with me, so a lot of things I learned along the way that I didn't realize that it was from a professional standpoint. It just kind of came along with me. So it kind of came off cocky at times, but I kind of had to prove myself, because some people judge you based on the entertainer that I was and not date on as who I am as a person. My journey has been a great one, and believe it or not, I'm learning more as I go, simply because this journey has not only been in one aspect. The date on now was not the same date on maybe almost 10 years ago. I was married, I had a baby, and all that good stuff that everybody worked towards. Had the house, had the car, had the life that I wanted at the time. And that didn't work out so well for me. Being a creative, what tends to happen is everything with you kind of has to be going right, and your mindset has to be clear in order to continue to create and rebirth and do things in order to kind of keep that juice going. And that was a very low period for me. I have a very good background as far as like the system, my family, where I come from, very close friends, however, and they kind of had to help to build me to get back to be rebirthed to this person that you would find here now. Sometimes my confidence actually cost me prior to, but I'm kind of happy that it happened the way that it did happen, because I would have never met this person or to learn the person who I'm actually becoming.
It really made everybody watching in the background say, oh boy, because they were all on the shore, getting their toes and things wet, trying to see what's going on. The people looked like they was having sex, but it gave us an oh boy kind of moment, and I think we kind of did what we needed to do with that.
I actually thought they were awesome.
It was very, very old. If you had to help somebody, who would it be?
I mean, as far as helping and assisting, I would probably say Drea, because she probably has the least experience out of all of us. And I know for a fact, at some point, I had my 20-some years, I had to start at one at some point and given time. And the rest of us has a bit more experience than she does.
I didn't think anyone needed help. I truly believe that, and what I believe about creative directors is that we thrive in our creativity. We thrive in what we see or what we want to see. And what I love about my personal creativity is I look for future. I look for what's about to come. And I love what I do. I love how I do what I do. And I don't think anyone can do what I do.
Beauty and the beat.
Beauty and the Beat.
Beauty and the Beat.
This is my Beauty and the Beat.
First of all, the challenging was a bit confusing. I guess it was more or less whatever your interpretation of it was. So when I heard beat, knowing that we are all young Bahamians, young creatives, however, my mind automatically went to our national culture, Junkanoo. I said, okay, let's have a variety, whereas I captivated on a Junkanoo piece as well as a glamorous piece.
I was a bit confused with that challenge. I ain't gonna lie. I was confused, and then when I reached out and see everybody else doing it, made me even more confused. So I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or doing the wrong thing, because everybody was going like a bunch of different directions. So I was really confused because it was Beauty and the Beat, but I come looking elegant and stuff, and then it was like, then I see Junkanoo. Oh, her face was beat. So that was the Beauty and the Beat. And I had a little nasty tree on top of her hair that we do last minute because I just wanted to make sure that she was extra. I wanted to make sure that she looked better than everyone.
That challenge was a challenge within a challenge for me. First of all, I didn't have a ride. I did not have a ride to get to the beach. But I was determined to get it. I to be honest, I was ready to quit. I was like, it was just a lot going on for me. My model wasn't prepared. My makeup artist. It was just so much going on that day. I took my suitcase and I started walking in the street. And I was like, child, somebody know me, somebody can give me a ride because I only get $5 in my pocket.
It was quite challenging because in that moment, my creative director side came out, and I realized that, for me, I was trying to have a lot of control over it because Olympia is a new model, and trying to get her into that, everything that I would have taught her over the few weeks that we've been working together. So it was quite challenging, but I love the fact that when you take your hands off of it as a creative director, you see the beauty of, what you created. So I'm really excited to see what happened with Beauty and the Beat, because I felt like at one point they had really great chemistry. I am that girl. If I can start with primary school, because that's a part of a child's life. It's not easily forgotten, Back then, dark-skinned girls, short hair girls, they were not beautiful to boys. They were not beautiful to teachers. You had to be mango skin. You had to have a certain look. Your skin had to be, very beautiful, no flaws. And I was very flawed. I was never selected at anything. And everyone always told me, you have potential, you have so much potential. I was the picky haired girl, the too dark, too thick on my father's side. So I was never really selected. And I had a lot of oomph to give. When I took off from my 9-to-5 job, I immediately went into the US. And I decided to go to Atlanta, knowing that that would be a little hub for where you can get more creative than in our hometown, the Bahamas, Grand Bahama especially. And so what I decided to do was take everything that I was already feeling, everything that I was already, trying to create, and take it into the US to see if I could make it bigger. And what I did was signed up for Celebrity Stylist Jay Boland's boot camp, and that's where I was encouraged to further pursue my styling career. And then I actually decided that I was going to create something called HPFP Bloom. What is that? Is high profile fashion photo shoot Bloom, because I believe that there were a lot of aspiring models on Grand Bahama that was not being used. They didn't even know that they're models. They didn't know that they can become models. And I wanted to show these young ladies that they had the power on the inside to do something greater that they didn't see right here in this country. I was pretty shy about who I was in primary school. When I went to high school, I thought of it as a fresh start, and I gave it everything. So every club that there was, I was a part of it, and I was willing, to put everything I had on the line to figure out who I am. And when I came out of high school, I decided I did not want to go to college anymore. I wanted to find out what it was that I truly wanted to do. Unless I wouldn't be sitting in this chair and I would be studying law.
The final images from tonight will be sent off to the judges for final deliberations. Join us for the judging episode coming soon.
I don't think I was paying attention like I should have been, and that's the Bahamian in me.
Most of the other models were faces we've seen over and over and over. I always like something. I always love it. For me, I need a breath of fresh air.
I just didn't realize that we would have needed male models for other parts of the assignments.
I said, okay guys, I know you might have your significant others, but I'm gonna need y'all to explain this to them.
I was able to work with a male model. He was really good. I know at first seat it felt a little awkward, trying to get everything together.
It was treacherous.